Good evening, my friends. Tonight I am going to teach you the most important skill you will ever learn in manifestation. Not how to imagine, not how to visualize, not how to do techniques. Tonight you will learn how to stay in the state. Because here is the truth that most people never grasp. You can assume your desire perfectly. You can enter the state of the wish fulfilled beautifully. You can feel it deeply for a moment. But if you cannot stay there, if you fall out of the state an hour later, a day later, a week later, your desire will never harden into fact. The secret to manifestation is not in entering the state. It is in remaining in the state. Tonight you will learn exactly how to do this. You will learn how to stay faithful to your assumption when circumstances contradict it. You will learn how to deepen your faith when doubt attacks. You will learn how to live in your desired state so naturally, so completely, that nothing can shake you out of it. Are you ready to become unshakable? Then let us begin. Let me show you the pattern that destroys most manifestations. A person has a desire. They learn the law, they get excited. They visualize and feel perfectly. For 20 minutes they feel their wish fulfilled. They feel wealthy, loved, successful, healthy. They fall asleep in the most beautiful state of consciousness. And when they wake up in the morning, they check their reality immediately. They see the same old circumstances staring back at them. And in that moment, that crucial moment, they fall out of the state. It is not working, they think. Maybe I did it wrong. Maybe I am not good enough at this. Maybe my desire is not coming. They have left the state. And the moment they leave the state, they stop creating their desire and start creating doubt, lack, and more waiting. This is the cycle that traps 99% of students. They enter the state beautifully, but they cannot stay there. They are shaken out by circumstances, by time, by doubt, by impatience, by the opinions of others. But tonight, this cycle ends. Tonight, you learn how to stay in the state no matter what. Before I teach you how to stay in a state, you must understand what a state actually is. A state is not a mood. It is not an emotion. It is not a temporary feeling that comes and goes. A state is a complete constellation of consciousness. It is a total way of being. It is how you think, how you feel, what you assume, what you expect, what you take for granted, how you see yourself, how you see the world. Think of consciousness as a mansion with infinite rooms. Each room is a different state. The room of poverty is one state. The room of wealth is another state. The room of loneliness is one state. The room of love is another state. Each room, each state, is complete and self-contained. When you are in the room of poverty, everything in that room reflects poverty. Your thoughts are poverty thoughts. Your feelings are poverty feelings. Your assumptions are poverty assumptions. The view from the window shows a poverty world. When you move to the room of wealth, everything changes. Your thoughts become wealth thoughts. Your feelings become wealth feelings. Your assumptions become wealth assumptions. The view from the window shows a wealth world. You are always in some state. Always. You cannot not be in a state. The question is, which state are you occupying? And more importantly, how do you stay in the state you have chosen? Here is the first principle of staying in a state. You must know, not believe, but know that the state is real. The state of wealth is just as real as the state of poverty. The state of being loved is just as real as the state of being lonely. The state of health is just as real as the state of sickness. These are not fantasies. These are not imaginary. These are actual states of consciousness that exist right now. When you assume wealth, when you enter the state of being a wealthy person, you have not created something new. You have simply moved from one existing room to another existing room. The room of wealth was always there. You just were not occupying it. This understanding is crucial because it removes doubt. You are not trying to create a state. You are not trying to make something happen. You are simply choosing to occupy a state that already exists. And once you know the state is real, Once you truly grasp that wealth, love, health, success all exist as actual states of consciousness right now, staying in that state becomes easier. You are not maintaining a fantasy. You are dwelling in a reality. The fact that the physical world has not yet reflected it is irrelevant. In consciousness, which is the only reality that creates, you are in that state. Now let me teach you the most important word in manifestation. Dwell. To dwell means to live, to reside, to make your home. You do not visit. You do not stop by occasionally. You dwell there. Most people visit their desired state. They go there during doing techniques for 20 minutes. They feel wonderful. Then they leave and return to their old state for the remaining 23 hours and 40 minutes. This is not dwelling. This is meditating. To manifest, you must dwell in your desired state. You must make it your home. You must live there. Think there, feel there, be there. Not for 20 minutes, but as your permanent residence. So, how do you dwell in a state? Let me show you. The moment you wake up, before you move, before you check the papers, before you think about your day, you choose where you will dwell today. In the drowsy state between sleep and waking, you are highly suggestible. This is your opportunity to establish your dwelling state for the day. Ask yourself, where am I dwelling today? In the state of having my desire, or in the state of lacking my desire? Then immediately assume the state of having your desire. Feel yourself to be that person. Not someday, not when it manifests. Now, you are that person now. This takes 30 seconds. 30 seconds to set your dwelling for the entire day. Most people skip this step. They wake up and immediately return to whatever state they were in yesterday, usually worry, lack, or wanting. They start their day in the wrong room. But you who are learning to stay in the state, you begin every single day by consciously choosing your dwelling. You wake up in the state of the wish fulfilled. This morning establishment creates momentum. It is much easier to stay in a state all day when you begin the day in that state. Here is the truth. During the day, you will fall out of the state, especially in the beginning. This is normal and expected. Someone will say something that triggers doubt. You will see a circumstance that contradicts your assumption. An old thought pattern will arise. And suddenly, without even realizing it, you will have left the state. This is not failure. This is simply the nature of learning a new habit. The key is not to never leave the state. The key is to notice quickly when you have left and to return immediately. Think of yourself as a guard watching the door of your consciousness. Your job is not to prevent every negative thought from knocking. Your job is to refuse to let them in and take up residence. If a negative thought arises, this is not working. You notice it immediately. You recognize, I have left the state. That is a thought from the old state of lack. And you choose, no, I am dwelling in the state of my wish fulfilled. I return there now. This is the practice, over and over throughout your day. Notice, return. Notice, return. At first you might fall out of the state dozens of times a day, but each time you notice and return, you are training your consciousness. You are making the desired state more natural, more automatic, more permanent. Eventually, and this happens faster than you think, the desired state becomes your default. You stop falling out because you have truly moved into that room and closed the door behind you. Let me reveal to you one of the most powerful secrets of staying in the state. Master your inner conversations. Right now in this moment, what are you saying to yourself about your desire? Are you saying, I hope this works? When will it come? I'm still waiting. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. What if it doesn't happen? These inner conversations are the language of the wrong state. Every time you think these thoughts, you are dwelling in the state of lack, waiting, and doubt. But when you stay in the desired state, your inner conversations change completely. It is done, this is mine, I am so grateful this is accomplished. I love having this is who I am. These are the inner conversations of someone dwelling in the state of the wish fulfilled. Your inner conversations are not random. They are not meaningless. They are the voice of the state you are dwelling in, and they are incredibly powerful in keeping you in that state or pushing you out of it. Here is a practice that will transform your ability to stay in the state. Throughout your day, listen to your inner conversations, not to judge them, not to fight them, simply to observe them. What are you saying to yourself about your desire? What are you saying to yourself about yourself? What are you saying to yourself about the world? And whenever you catch an inner conversation that belongs to the old state, stop it immediately. Do not engage with it. Do not argue with it. Simply stop it and replace it with the inner conversation that belongs to your desired state. Old conversation, I'm still broke. When will the money come? New conversation, I am abundant. Money flows to me easily. Old conversation, I still haven't heard from them. Maybe they don't love me. New conversation, I am loved and desired. This relationship is perfect. Old conversation, my body still has symptoms. What if I never heal? New conversation, I am healthy and whole. My body is strong and vital. This practice, catching and redirecting your inner conversations, is one of the most powerful tools for staying in the state. Why? Because your inner conversations are the constant background noise of your consciousness. If that background noise is negative, you cannot stay in a positive state. But when you change the background noise to match your desired state, staying in that state becomes natural and effortless. Now let me address something crucial. How do you deepen your faith in the state when you have not yet seen physical evidence? This is where most people struggle. They can assume their desire for a day, maybe a week, but as time passes with no physical manifestation, their faith weakens. Doubt creeps in. They begin to question whether the state is real, whether the law works, whether they are doing it right. Here is how you deepen faith, through experience in consciousness. You do not need physical evidence to know something is true. You need experiential evidence in consciousness. Let me explain. When you imagine yourself in your desired state, when you feel yourself to be wealthy or loved or healthy, that is an experience, not a physical experience, but a conscious experience. And conscious experience is just as real, just as valid, just as evidential as physical experience. The more you experience yourself in the desired state in imagination, the more real that state becomes to you. The more you dwell there in consciousness, the more faith you have that it is true. Think of it this way. If I tell you about a country you have never visited, you might believe me intellectually, but you do not know that country is real from experience. But if you visit that country in imagination, if you see it, hear it, smell it, feel it, experience it vividly and repeatedly, it becomes real to you. Not hypothetically real, experientially real. This is how you deepen faith. Not by waiting for physical proof, but by giving yourself repeated conscious experiences of dwelling in the desired state. Every time you feel your wish fulfilled, you are having an experience. Every time you assume your desire throughout the day, and think from that assumption, you are having an experience. Every time you imagine yourself as the person who has their desire, you are having an experience. These experiences accumulate, they build upon each other, and gradually, subtly, your faith deepens, not because you are trying to believe harder, but because you have experienced the state so many times that it has become real to you. This is why I say persist. Persist in dwelling in the state, not to convince God, not to make something happen, but to give yourself enough conscious experience of the state that it becomes more real to you than your current circumstances. Now let me teach you how to handle the inevitable moments of doubt. Doubt will come. Even when you are dwelling beautifully in your desired state, even when you are doing everything right, doubt will knock on the door. But it's been 3 weeks and nothing has changed. But I still don't see any evidence. But what if this doesn't work for me? But my circumstances are getting worse, not better. These doubts are not signs that you are failing. They are not signs that the law does not work. They are simply the old state trying to reclaim you. Remember, you are moving from one state to another. The old state does not want to let you go. It will send doubts, fears, and contradictions to pull you back. How do you handle these doubt attacks? Not by fighting them, not by getting upset that you are doubting, but by recognizing what they are and refusing to entertain them. When doubt appears, here is what you do. Step 1. Recognize it. Ah, there is doubt. There is the old state trying to reclaim me. Step 2. Refuse to entertain it. Do not argue with the doubt. Do not try to prove it wrong. Do not engage with it at all. Simply refuse to give it your attention. Step 3. Return to your assumption. Immediately return to the state of the wish fulfilled. Feel it, know it, dwell in it. Think of doubt as a wave. If you stand firm, if you remain rooted in your assumption, the wave crashes against you and then recedes. It has no power unless you give it power by entertaining it. But if you engage with the doubt, if you follow its logic, if you let it pull you into questioning and analyzing and worrying, you have been swept away by the wave. You have left your state. Stay rooted. Let the doubts come and go like waves. You remain unmoved in your assumption. Let me give you 3 anchors, 3 practices that will keep you firmly rooted in your state, even when everything seems to be working against you. Anchor number 1, the feeling. Throughout your day, return again and again to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Not once a day, not just during techniques. Throughout your day, every hour if necessary. Stop for 30 seconds. Close your eyes if you can, or just become still if you cannot, and feel yourself to be the person who has their desire. Feel wealthy, feel loved, feel healthy, feel successful. Whatever your desire is, feel the reality of being that person. This feeling is your anchor. When doubt comes, when circumstances scream at you, when time seems to be working against you, return to the feeling. The feeling reconnects you to the state instantly. Make this a practice. Every hour, return to the feeling for 30 seconds. This constant returning to the feeling keeps you anchored in the state. You cannot drift far when you are returning to port every hour. Anchor number 2, gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful tools for staying in the state, because gratitude assumes possession. You do not thank someone for something you do not have. You thank them for something you have received. When you practice gratitude for your desire, as though it is already yours, as though it is already done, you are assuming the end. An assumption is the state. Throughout your day, be grateful for your desire. Thank you for my wealth. Thank you for this perfect relationship. Thank you for my health. Thank you that this is done. Not thank you that it will come, but thank you that it is. This gratitude keeps you anchored in the state of already having. It is impossible to be grateful for something and simultaneously believe you do not have it. Gratitude and lack cannot coexist. Anchor number 3, revision. Every evening before you do your state akin to sleep practice, take 5 minutes to revise your day. Think back through your day. Where did you fall out of the state? What moments triggered doubt or fear or old thinking? And revise those moments. Replay them in your imagination, but this time you respond from your desired state. Did someone say something that made you doubt? Revise it. Imagine yourself hearing their words and remaining completely unmoved in your assumption. Did you check your bank account and feel fear? Revise it. Imagine yourself checking your account and feeling complete peace because you know you are wealthy in consciousness. Did circumstances contradict your assumption? Revise them. Imagine yourself seeing those circumstances and simply smiling, knowing the mirror is showing the old reflection while the new reality is already established in consciousness. This nightly revision serves 2 purposes. First, it clears any damage done during the day. You are literally rewriting the day so that in consciousness you remained in the state perfectly. Second, it trains you. Each time you revise a moment where you fell out of the state, you are teaching yourself how to respond correctly. You are rehearsing staying in the state, and tomorrow, when a similar situation arises, you will be more likely to stay rooted because you have practiced it in revision. Now let me tell you how you will know you have truly learned to stay in the state. There is a test, and it is called Sabbath. Sabbath means rest. It means you have done your work, and now you rest in the knowledge that it is finished. When you can imagine your desire, assume your desire, dwell in the state of your desire, and then let it go. Not abandon it, not forget it, but simply rest in the knowing that it is done, without anxious checking, without desperate hoping, without constant analyzing. When you reach this point, when you can plant the seed in consciousness and then rest, trusting the harvest, you have mastered staying in the state. This is the ultimate test. Can you assume your desire and then go about your life naturally, peacefully, without the need to constantly monitor whether it is working? If you cannot rest, if you are constantly checking for signs and evidence and proof, you have not truly stayed in the state. You are still reaching toward your desire rather than dwelling in possession of it. But when you can rest, when you can wake up in the morning and go about your day as the person who has their desire, not thinking about when it will come, but simply being who you are, you have entered Sabbath. And in Sabbath, the harvest comes quickly. Here is how you know you are staying in the state successfully. When your desire becomes natural, not exciting, not special, not something you think about constantly. Natural, normal, ordinary. Think about things you already have. Do you think about them all day? Do you get excited every time you remember them? Do you hope they stay with you? No, they are simply yours. They are so naturally yours that you take them for granted. When your desire reaches this quality, when it feels so natural to be wealthy, to be loved, to be healthy, to be successful, that you almost forget you are manifesting it, you are dwelling in the state perfectly. This naturalness is the sign that you have truly moved rooms. You are no longer visiting the state of wealth. You are living there. You are no longer hoping for love. You are being loved. You are no longer trying to be successful. You are successful, and it is so normal that it barely registers. When you reach this naturalness, the physical manifestation is imminent. Why? Because naturalness means there is no more resistance, no more doubt, no more split consciousness. You are completely, totally, fully in the state. And the physical world must reflect a state that is occupied so completely. Let me tell you the ultimate truth about staying in the state. It is not about perfection. You will fall out of the state sometimes. You will doubt sometimes. You will be shaken sometimes. This is human. This is normal. This does not mean you have failed. Staying in the state is not about never leaving. It is about returning quickly when you notice you have left. It is about dwelling more in the desired state than in the old state. It is about making the desired state your home, even if you occasionally take trips back to the old state. Over time, those trips become shorter and less frequent. Over time, the desired state becomes so natural that you hardly ever leave. Over time, staying in the state becomes effortless because you are no longer trying to stay. You simply are. This is mastery, not perfection, not rigid control, but natural, easy dwelling in the state of your wish fulfilled. Right now, in this moment, choose your state. Where will you dwell? In the state of having your desire or in the state of lacking your desire? Choose now. Assume now. Feel now. You are the person who has their desire, not someday. Now, in consciousness, in the only reality that creates. And from this moment forward, your only job is to stay there, to dwell there, to make that state your home. When you fall out, return immediately. When doubt comes, let it pass without engaging. When circumstances contradict, remember they are the old mirror. Stay in the state. Dwell in the state. Live in the state. Do this, and I promise you, as surely as the sun rises, your desire will harden into fact. Not because you forced it, not because you earned it, but because you became it in consciousness first. And the physical world had no choice but to reflect the state you dwelled in. Stay in the state, my friends. It is the whole law in 4 words. Thank you, and good evening. As always, thank you for joining me on this journey into the depths of consciousness. Remember, you are not here by accident. You are here because your soul is ready for this truth. Take these teachings and let them transform not just your mind, but your entire reality. Until we meet again in consciousness, keep assuming your greatness and living from the end of your desires. This is Best of Lectures. I will see you in the next video.